Today, let's talk about money. I'm really excited to do this because I feel like this is the year where I actually ran like my small business from January to December with no breaks. I've always seen other creators and influencers do that, so I just wanted to hop on and share my journey too. To be honest, I think this is the first year where I feel somewhat confident to share the amount that I have because the numbers that I earned last year were not enough for me to be that proud of it. So honestly, this is a very realistic number for a small business that's growing. And so I'm going to talk about how much I earned, the different income streams that I've built, and how much I earned on each individual platform. And I will do my best to share as much insights as I can. And I will have timestamps down below, so feel free to skip around and jump to where you are most interested in. Just a disclaimer, this is not in any way to brag or to be used as a way to compare where your journey is compared to mine, because everyone is on their own journey. So let's talk about my history. I started Studio Memoli back in 2022, and I was actually named Memoli Store prior to this, but I didn't like that name enough, so I got it changed. In my first year, I started off as an art account where I mostly shared posts on Instagram. Around 3 months in, I reached 1,000 followers and decided that I would start a shop and create some stickers. I ended up getting 2 sales, one from another artist and one from a fan that was actually really supportive, and I'm still really grateful to her to this day. I struggled a lot to manage my small business because at that time I really struggled to make sticker sheets and also market my products, because the struggle made me feel a lack of confidence and insecurity towards what I created, so I didn't end up having any shop updates that year. Then the year after that, in 2023, I had one shop update and I launched my YouTube channel. The first video I uploaded was based on reopening my shop, and it actually blew up and is what got me to have a lot more sales and helped me gain some credibility on Etsy. Now, I would say I earned about 200 to 300 that year because I ended up stopping after my summer update. So after September, I had to stop because I wanted to focus on college and getting a full-time job and graduating. And so I didn't run my business from September of 2023 to pretty much June of 2024 for almost 10 months. I came back in July and August and had my summer shop update, and it started doing pretty well. I started to focus more on actually creating products and trying to market them. So when I came back, I actually enjoyed making products a lot more because while I was so focused on school and academics, I really missed the creative side. So I had a lot of ideas and things I wanted to do. I was also really nervous because for not posting for almost 10 months, I was afraid that I no longer had credibility on social media. I lost the traction that was growing, and it was really hard to come back to an algorithm that was completely different from what I was used to when I left. I leaned on the idea of creating rep freebies, but I took it a step further by creating customized characters of my reps and allowed them to fully design it and give it a personality while I drew it out. And then I made it so that for each update, each of the reps would have a new exclusive design to get that FOMO going. And even though it was a lot of work and effort, I am really proud of the designs I created, and it helped me gain a lot of sales that year. And I ended up having 3 shop updates, which is really crazy in the span of 4 months. And then I closed my shop in middle of December to move out and to move to my new place. I opened my shop again in January, and I had 2 shop updates this year. I think I overestimated my ability to actually create a lot of designs, so I didn't have as many shop updates as I wanted to, but I did end up creating quite a lot of sticker designs, so I am pretty proud of that. So yeah, very long history. I hope I did not go off tangent, but I just wanted to share that because there were so many up and downs in my small business that may have felt like I couldn't get back up, but in the end I still did. And so I hope that you don't give up if you're facing difficulties, because there will be be opportunities for you, and just know that success is just one corner away. All right, now let's talk about money. Just to preface, I'm going to list the platforms I earned money on and then how much I earned on that platform, and then I will tell you my difficulties and additional comments that I have about that income stream. The rating will be from 1 to 10, where 1 is the easiest and 10 is the hardest. For a lot of these categories, I am going to tell you how much I earned before fees because I haven't really taken the time to calculate that yet. But so all of the numbers I throw out except for Etsy will be before fees and taxes and other sorts of factors. So these are just the raw numbers in terms of how much I earned. I have my laptop here because I have all the numbers. So let's get started. So here are the income streams that I have: YouTube, art markets, affiliate links, Instagram's creator bonus program, Etsy, and my monthly club. Alright, so let's start with Etsy because Etsy is my main source of income and where I sell all of my products. So this year on Etsy, I earned $5,840.55. They took $794.03 away in fees. They took $2.14 in marketing. I usually turn Etsy marketing off, but I guess this was a Google ad that they had, which was listing my product, and someone clicked on it. And then for shipping that I paid Etsy to generate my tracking numbers and labels, I paid $426.08. So after all those fees, I came out of Etsy with $4,618.30. So in total, I lost about $1,200 in fees and shipping costs. This will actually have me evaluating the prices for next year because a large portion of this also has to go back into creating my products, and so I will actually be earning a lot less. For Etsy, I would actually rate it 10 out of 10 in terms of difficulty because first, you have to create all of your listings, product photos, descriptions, and they don't make it any easier. I wish they had like a export-import CSV file that I can just update to add in all of my product information, but they don't have that, so doing one manually is very difficult. And when I first started on Etsy, the number of fields I had to fill out in terms of product category, description, yada yada were so confusing and so intimidating for me, so that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. And also, they don't really market for you. Yes, you do have a platform of shoppers already on there, but to stand out amongst thousands and thousands of artists is very difficult, and more than like 80% of my traffic comes from my own platform rather than Etsy itself. Alright, and some things I noticed were I had 2 shop updates this year, one in July and one in September, and I had 2 sales this year, one in August and one in November. And usually during the times where I had sales or shop updates, the number of sales will increase. Having frequent shop updates is really important to make sure that you get your audiences interested in your products, to check them out, to visit your page. And then having shop sales is actually also really important to encourage people to buy, or maybe tilt the balance in terms of them leaning or deciding against buying your product. And so for next year, my goal is to have a couple more shop updates. My ideal shop update number is usually 4 every year for each season. So I didn't succeed that this year, but maybe next year. And then for sales, I also hope to have more of that next year, especially like when it comes to my birthday and stuff like that. I would love to have a way to celebrate that and give back to my audience. Additionally, this will also be beneficial because it would move my inventory a lot faster because I would be selling more, and at the same time I could be able to have more funds to create new products. Alright, that was a lot for Etsy. Let's go on to my next source of income, which is Ko-fi and Patreon, otherwise known as your monthly club. And so for this, I also rated a 10 out of 10 in difficulty, and on this platform before fees, I earned $2,295 on Ko-fi, and I earned around $300 on Patreon. I started my Ko-fi club in August and my Patreon in November, so the numbers are basically from summer to December, the past 4 months. So let's talk about the details. Overall, the reason why I'm rating it a 10 out of 10 in difficulty is because I kind of overestimated my ability to keep up with what I'm doing and my capacity overall. So if you don't know, on my club I make 2 art prints that doubles as wallpapers and 3 sticker sheets that also double as icon sets and 2 sticker flakes. Now that's a lot of products. It takes me around 4 to 6 hours to create each individual one, so I'm spending about 20-30 hours creating my monthly club products, and that's a lot of time for me, and hence why I rated it a very high difficulty. Now, don't get me wrong, even though it's challenging, I'm still having a lot of fun, and I felt like this year was the year where I grew a lot because I was challenging myself to make so many products and create so many art prints, which I didn't get to do before, and this really helped me focus on illustrating big illustrations that are more complex rather than just Instagram post related illustrations. And as a result, I do price my monthly clubs a little higher than what you would typically see as the prices for other monthly club mails. I have felt a little bit insecure about it because I do know that people might not be as willing to pay for my monthly club, but given how much time and effort I put into it, I try not to think about the comparison and I try to focus on why I'm pricing it like that. I really enjoy what I'm doing so far, and the packing process is super therapeutic. I am still focusing on ways I can improve the unboxing experience because I love how other artists are creating their snail mail clubs. Another reason why I want to keep this going is because you might notice I do not keep my designs exclusive. Instead, I will put these products up on Etsy and add them on my listings for a higher price. And the reason why I do this goes back to how much time I'm spending on my design again. I felt like because I'm spending so much time on it, I would prefer to make sure that I can sell the product a little bit longer instead of it fading out in 30 days. So that was a personal decision for me. I do know that if I kept the products a little more exclusive, people would actually be more willing to join because they wouldn't be able to get the product outside of the monthly club, and that creates FOMO. I really value how much time and effort I put into those designs, so I do want more to see them even outside of my monthly club. For my monthly club members, I hope you understand monthly clubs are a great investment. If you're interested in learning more about how to start a monthly club, let me know in the comments maybe, and I will try to create a video on it. I don't know if I'm rambling a little bit too much, but if I am, please feel free to skip around. Alright, next are going to be a drastic drop in earnings because those are the platforms that I try to be more passive about. First, let's start off with YouTube. I started YouTube back in 2023, so it's already been 2 years, almost 3 years now, and I haven't reached affiliation at the time of filming this video, so I currently do not make any money on it except for the super that someone gave me, so thank you so much for this. It is also a 10 out of 10 in terms of effort. You have to spend a lot of time being on camera and filming, and for me, I'm still not quite comfortable being in front of a camera. I think this is the first time where I'm literally like sitting down talking to you guys. Usually I try to do silent vlogs because I'm kind of nervous about speaking and I feel like I don't have a lot to share. Getting a lot of more support from you in terms of videos where I talk has been really nice, and I'm really grateful that you're interested in what I have to say. And so each week I spend about 5+ hours editing video clips. I know my older videos are not as interesting, so I have not yet reached the 4,000 hours. I'm so sorry, guys. But I'm really grateful to the ones who are here to watch me, and I promise I will try to do better in the future. Anyways, so I would actually say 2025 is the year where I am a lot more consistent with actually uploading and editing videos every week, except for maybe October, November, where I missed a couple weeks. And this was because before that I was still in school and I wanted to still put a lot of my focus and time on my academics rather than my shop. It was a really hard decision to make, but it was not something that I regret in any way. And now that I'm in corporate without homework, I think it has gotten a lot easier because I get a lot more time back on the weekends and late evenings. And contrary to what you might expect about YouTube being a big source of earning on your platform, the actual main reason why I still dedicate a lot of my time on YouTube is because a lot of my traffic actually comes from YouTube. More of the people who watch on YouTube go to shop than from Instagram. So I'm going to put a screenshot here where it shows the comparison in traffic, and you will see that even though I have a fifth of the amount of subscribers as followers I do have on Instagram, and I think that's really crazy, but it goes to show that me showing the process and connecting with you all is a lot more important than the fast-paced social media process on Instagram. I would say this year was a lot of growth for me on YouTube, not in terms of numbers, but also I am getting more comfortable with showing my personality on camera and doing more talking videos. A lot of it is still me doing a lot of mental preparation, a lot of physical preparation in terms of writing out ideas on my notebooks and stuff like that. I'm getting a little less shy. I just have to remember not to ramble so much because I feel like the videos do get a little bit long. The truth is I still haven't shared my YouTube channel to my Instagram audience yet, so a lot of the audience here are actually unique compared to Instagram, and I'm really grateful for that because it really shows how different the two platforms can be. Alright, I think I'm talking a little bit too much about YouTube, so let's move to the next one. The fourth income stream that I have is art markets. So you probably see a lot of artists doing art markets, and this was something that I was interested in doing, and I started doing some last year with a friend, and my introductory art market that I started with was Sunny Day, and it was really nice and really special. So this year I ended up doing some in the beginning of the year. I did a total of 3 art markets. The first one is Sunny Day. The second one is Ori Art Market for 2 days, and the third one is the World's Borough Art Market for two days also. For Sunny Day Art Market, the cost was $45 to share a table with my friend, and I made $460 before any fees. And then for Ori Day Art Market, the 2-day art market, it was in February 1st and February 2nd. The table fee was $250 for 2 days for a 6-foot table, and I made $450 on that day. The third art market that I did was World's Borough Bookshop, where I vended on April 19th and April 20th, and the table fee was $25, but I actually didn't record how much I earned because the market was so quiet. I think I only had like 3 customers. So I would say I barely made back my $25 fee, which is crazy to say. In terms of rating, I rated this a 9 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. So the reason why it's 9 instead of 10 is because the pro was that I am already selling products that I've created for my other shop updates. So I didn't have to think about creating new products, and I can just bring the products I have. It was a great way to move my inventory a little faster so that I can have more space to create new products. I also enjoyed meeting people who follow my art online, so I loved meeting you all and getting to know your faces and your names. So those were the 2 reasons why I didn't make a 10 out of 10, but here are the cons. I felt like because I was juggling a full-time job and my small business, going to art markets on the weekend was a huge sacrifice in having time to design new products, and that was something I wanted more time to focus on. Attending art markets was a huge huge gamble. I didn't know whether they would be successful or not. Sunny Day is really good at having a high turnout, and they were really successful, but my other two art markets were a little bit not as successful. Also, in New York City, I don't have a car, so I have to lug a huge suitcase around New York City throughout the transit system, and it was super difficult going up and down stairs when those stations don't have elevators for me to access. I am lucky on certain days, and there are strangers who are kind enough to help me out, so thank you to the kind strangers. I hope that your pillows are always cold. It was very difficult, and it makes me really frustrated actually going to the markets, especially for the colder weathers. So that's why I ended up taking a break after Ori Art Market, the one which is the last one I did in March, and I decided that I wouldn't do any more art markets because I wanted that time to dedicate to myself to create products, because losing 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday to not be able to draw and design new products will felt really wasteful for me. Alright, if my voice sounds a little hoarse, I'm so sorry about that, but it gets like that whenever I talk too much because I'm just not used to speaking for so long. Number 5 is Instagram's creator bonus program, and I joined actually on my birthday. They sent out an invite on that day, so I got super lucky, and I would say I made around $11 on it from February till now. I would rate it a 2 out of 10 just because I'm already posting on the platform, so it wasn't any type of difficulty to it because it was kind of rewarding me for what I'm already doing. But I am super confused because most people tell me that they're in the Reels program for Instagram's bonus program, but somehow I'm in the one for carousels, and I've never met another person in the carousel program, and I have no information online to help me figure things out. However, I'm not complaining because I love carousels a lot more. It's just so much easier for me to post pictures and infographics and write rather than to create videos. There's not a lot of cons for it because the biggest benefit is it's rewarding you to post more content. However, I do feel like I don't earn a lot anyways. I earn about 1 cent per 1,000 to 2,000 views for a post, and those posts only count for 2 weeks before they are no longer counted. So if that post goes viral after those 2 weeks, yeah. So make of that what you will. And then lastly, my last program is affiliate links for Amazon. I don't really know the two, except that one, you can share a storefront versus just a product link. So for me, I am in the one where I can share a storefront. Basically, it's a page where I get to list all of the products that I use in my day-to-day for filming, creating products, drawing, supplies I use for markets, all of those, and list it there, and people can check out what I use and buy those products. I'm obligated to say this, but I do earn a commission on the products that you click on, so I earn a couple cents if you buy any of those products from my storefront. So far I made around $8.91 from that program. The effort is a 1 out of 10 for me. It's really easy to apply and get in. I think I just needed to prove that I had a social media that was actually active, and the main difficulty was finding the products that I was using and then adding those products on my storefront. I don't use it often, so every time I log in, I get a little lost about where the buttons go. But other than that, it is a really easy passive income. And this is not any sort of earning, but I wanted to include this in here for reference. You also might have noticed that I did a lot of collabs this year, and I would say I made $0 from those collabs. This year was all gifted, and the reason why I did gifted collabs was I'm not very confident about my ability to market even my own products. So marketing other people's products feel very intimidating for me. And because of that lack of confidence, I didn't really have the confidence to negotiate and get a better deal for myself. But I'm already very grateful for the gifted collabs. And of the collabs I posted in 2025, all of them were products that I really wanted to try and really wanted to experience. So it was a great way for me to actually gain experience and build a portfolio. I don't know if I would recommend that you just continually accept gifted collabs, but I felt like this was the path for me because I needed a way to become more confident. So my goal for next year for this is probably to challenge myself to negotiate and be okay if a brand rejects my offer or request to be paid instead, because at the end of the day I want to keep this as transparent, as real with you all in terms of actually enjoying the tools I use and things that actually provide a lot of productivity for me. Alright, so those are all the income streams and how much I earned this year. In total, I made around 8,000, which is actually a lot and very impressive for me because the year before I only had an Etsy and I only made around $2,000 from that. So it's a great improvement for me and I am really excited for next year. So let's talk about goals for next year in terms of income stream. I'm very close to being monetized on YouTube, so just a few more hours, and I hope to be able to include YouTube as an income stream for 2026. And as I mentioned before, I hope to be able to negotiate and have paid deals with brands, so I want to add that as a form of income stream too. Another goal that I have is starting a Shopify or another shop outside of Etsy. I'm still kind of researching into this, but Etsy fees are way too high. What I earn doesn't really even account for how much time I spent on creating my products. It's tough on Etsy. Another thing that I want to do is Printify or Printful, otherwise known as print on demand. I did start ACG Goods, but I do know that I will have to market it since it is a different platform and not necessarily connected to my shop in any way. I'm really excited about how it will work and I plan to use it for 2026, but I also want to have more options because I love to create clothes, hats, and all those other products. And lastly, I hope to have consignments or my products in physical locations. It would be another way to passively earn money and make it easier and cheaper for people so people don't have to pay for like shipping or all those other shenanigans, and instead they can just grab the product in my shop. I do have one store that I will be in for January through March, so I'm working on that process right now. And in terms of the numerical goal, in terms of how much I want to make next year, I want to at least double or triple whatever I made this year. So my goal for next year will probably be 5 digits. My main goal for this year is actually to try and escape corporate. Fingers crossed. Hopefully you guys feel informed, or I don't know, did I bore you out with all the rambling? Thanks so much for watching. I'm really grateful that you're here and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.